Hey guys, I'm Noah Martin.
I'm Nick Carlin.
And we got Chris Harmon behind the camera. And this is our 3920 design project for the semester. So what we're doing today is we've got some supplies here that we picked up at Tractor Supply. We're actually building a little game that they call the impossible horseshoe. So basically you got two horseshoes sitting like this with a piece of chain connecting them on it either side. I've already cut these down to the length that they need to be. And we'll have this ring here around each piece of chain on both sides. And with it sitting there, after everything's been fabricated and everything's attached, what it'll look like is that this ring, there's no way that you're going to get this ring to come off this horseshoe. But at the end of this video, after we get it made up, we'll show you how to do it, because there is a way to get it off. So one of the important things to know when you're welding is that you got to burn into the metal to get a good weld. And one of the most important things for doing that is making sure that that raw carbon steel or whatever it is that you're welding is exposed. So we got this chain here, it's O2 chain link, and this has like a zinc or nickel plating on it to make it more weather resistant. And I'm not exactly, to be honest, sure what is on these horseshoes, but they definitely do have some kind of coating on them. So what we're going to do, I got one of our horseshoes clamped up already here, and we're going to take the grinder and grind the areas where our weld is going to go to make sure that we get a good strong burn in to the metal. And one thing I wanted to mention is that when you're doing any kind of grinding or really machining in general, you want to have a face covering, because most of the time, whether you're adding or removing metal, there's something that could be slung. So for grinding, we've got our face shield. You can wear safety glasses, but a face shield's always a better idea to protect your whole face. But what we're going to do is we're going to get this disc grinder, and we're going to take and we're just going to lightly kind of brush across this to remove the coating, because you don't want to actually grind a whole lot of the material off, because the less material you have, the weaker it's going to be and more likely to break. But you definitely want to get the coating off good so that your weld will burn in. You want to bring it up. So you can see just right there, you can see how that raw metal is exposed now. So that's what we need to get a good weld. We'll go ahead and do that to the rest of our stuff, and we'll catch up with y'all when we got it done. All right, so we're going to get the welder going here. This is a Miller-Matic 250. It's a MIG welder, which stands for metal inert gas. And basically it's a wire feed welder that blows gas out around your weld, and that's what we got here. We got our gas bottle, which in the case of MIG, we got a bottle that's mixed with 75% argon, 25% CO2. But anyway, to get it started, you just want to hook it up. We've already got it plugged up, but it plugs up to 240 volt power single phase. And then you want to get your, this is called your whip. You want to get it out. This is what you're going to be doing your actual welding with. And then just equally as important is your ground clamp. So when you're welding, what you're actually doing is completing a circuit, which is what heats everything up. So you want to ground your welder to whatever you're welding. So we'll get that put on there like that. And a couple of things I want to talk about is the most important thing when you're welding, when you're trying to make a strong weld, is to burn in good, which is what you get out of the right combination of voltage and wire speed. So I got an example for y'all here. This is a good weld. You can see I welded these two pieces of angle iron together. You can see not only does it look very clean, but it's also pretty low profile burning the metal. And on the back of this, we've got a crappy weld, which is what you get when your heat's not high enough or when your wire speed is too high. And this varies a little bit for different types of metals, but to get a good strong weld, you need those settings just right. Before we start, another thing, just make sure you're wearing proper PPE when you're welding. We got a weld mask to protect our eyes from the rays put off by that. And we also got heat resistant gloves. But we're going to get right in it, make sure we're grounded. And we're just going to throw a tack weld right where this chain runs up to here. If you want to come a little closer, Chris. All right, so yeah, that's, you can see right here, that's all it takes for something like this, just a little tack weld to attach that chain to there. So we're gonna go ahead and get everybody involved and do it to the other 3 sides. Yeah. All right, so here's our final product. You can see we got our welds on all the chain right here. We're gonna show you how it works. So this is it right here. Obviously you take a look at that and it does not look like that ring's coming off. And hopefully I can do it a little quicker this time. But we did just do it. So let me see if I can show you guys. Get that thing in there. Get it twisted around. It comes off. All right, so that's it for our project. It turned out pretty good, worked like we wanted to. We got the ring off. A couple of lessons learned here. I mean, I've been welding for a long time and you kind of see this same stuff over and over again, but one thing that's super important is getting everything lined up and square when you want it. When we first started, our chains weren't exactly straight with the horseshoes, and that made it a lot more difficult to get the ring off. And another thing that was really important is it's a little windy out here, and this welder relies heavily on the gas aspect of making a clean weld. We actually have one that we can show you right here. That little weld right there is kind of dried up now, but you can see that crater and that bubbling. When you don't have your gas going, whether it's you got your gas turned off or the wind's blowing or whatever, it really has a negative impact on your weld. It keeps it from burning in good and keeps it from doing what it's supposed to do. But overall, I think we had fun. Chris and them got to weld a little bit and learn some stuff, but anyway, it worked, so we're definitely happy.